The goal of the social emotional learning curriculum is to help each child reach a point of self actualization, both within themselves and outside of themselves. So, this means each child is able to regulate their behaviors, identify which emotions they're experiencing, maintain positive relationships with others, and maintain a sense of belonging and ownership over their wider community. So this type of 3.0 SEL is largely missing in the sphere of religious education. So in order to combat this, I've designed a little bit of an ambitious curriculum, I'll admit, but it's one that is dynamic and multifaceted and relies on several different frameworks to give it the um, research based backing that it needs in order to be successful. So I'll start by describing the curriculum and some example activities, and then later on I'll get into more of the framework behind how this like from the stems. So my idea is to base this curriculum around the focal point of a confirmation preparation class. So the age range for this is 7th, 8th, and 9th graders, which are between the ages of like 13 and 15. And I wanted to focus around this age group because in the Catholic faith, uh, once a child receives their confirmation, they're considered like adults in the eyes of the church. So I thought this would be a really good age group to kind of really hone in on and focus since they're taking the next big step in their faith life. So what this curriculum would consist of is having like a rotating schedule, and this is based around the classes being on one day a week, so every Sunday of the month for like 4 weeks out of the month. So the first week, the confirmation class will meet only with their peers. So it'll just be that small group of the mixed of the 7th, 8th, and 9th graders. The second week of the month, it'll be the confirmation class partnering with the communion class, which is first and second graders, which are like 7 and 8, maybe even 9-year-olds. And I designed it this way so that the older confirmation students are given a position of being role models and guides for these younger students who are also going through a big change in their faith journey, receiving their first communion at the end of the program. So the third week of the month will go back to being just the confirmation students only, the 7th, 8th, and 9th graders. And then the fourth week of the month will be the confirmation class along with their sponsors. And what a sponsor is, it is each confirmandi, they choose someone in their own like personal life, some adult who's also involved in the faith. And similar to like a godparent at baptism, the sponsor is basically like signing up and agreeing to be the confirmandi's like role model in the faith and to have that connection with them in an ongoing thing. So the confirmandi chooses who they want their sponsor to be, and the sponsor is someone that is important to them in their own life. So in this curriculum setup, you have these 4 different weeks, and on each different week, there's going to be a different theme. So the themes will rotate as it goes. On 1 week of the month will be a normal class, and I designate this to be just with the confirmation group only. So on either the first week or the third week of the month, that they'll just have a normal class. And this would consist of what you would think to be in a typical classroom. There's going to be a lecture, maybe reading from a textbook, maybe some worksheets that the kids do, a group assignment. So a very typical day that you'd see in a normal school. So on another week of the month, the curriculum will be arts-based. And this is like revolving around music or dance or visual art. So for example, like doing a group mural on what God looks like, listening to or creating their own songs about the faith, maybe doing like a dramatic interpretation of a Bible story, or creatively writing what they believe would have happened that isn't recorded in the Bible, or even going to faith-based movies or plays or concerts. And then, so the arts-based week will rotate between being just the confirmation only group, the confirmation and communion group, or the confirmation and the sponsor group. So another week out of the month will be a catechism exploration month. So this will be doing like a deep dive on their own with minimal input from the teacher figure. So the children are really left to reflect on their own life, their own experiences, and come to their own conclusions. And this will also rotate between being the confirmation only class, the confirmation and communion, and the confirmation and the sponsor class. So some topics, it would really depend on which group, like which age groupings are together, but some topics that might be explored in the confirmation and communion group might be, what has God done in your life? What receiving communion feels like? And then some examples of what might be explored in a confirmation and a sponsor class is how to get through hard times, ways to get closer to God, and even like a society hot topic where they go through the Bible and the Catechism and compare like what society talks about, things like divorce or same-gender relationships, modesty, social services, and things like that the children experience in their own life that might be conflicting with what they think the church teaches or what the church is like seeming to teach. And so another class of the month will be a community outreach class. And this will also rotate between being just the communion class, or being just the confirmation class, the confirmation and communion class, and the confirmation and the sponsor class. And this can include things like going to a nursing home, going to a soup kitchen, hosting a clothing drive, making cards for people at the hospital, shopping for toys for around Christmas time to donate, and even doing like a educational or a missionary campaign in the community. So all of these ideas, they relate to the Castle 5 framework. Um, in one way or another, they focus on self-awareness or self-management, responsible decision making, relationship skills, and social awareness. But I also found some other SEL frameworks that really highlight what is important in this new curriculum. Cass Miner's Collaborate, Nurture, Build, and Reflect framework. I really wanted to include that because of the collaborative nature of this curriculum setup and also the reflective nature of it. And another SEL framework that's really important to the different activities that I'm proposing for this curriculum is Gil Nome's Clover model. It's one he made with the Harvard Medical School's PAIR Institute, which is the Partnerships in Education and Resilience. And that model focuses on active engagement, assertiveness, belonging, and reflection. And I think that really encapsulates everything that the curriculum I'm proposing tries to do. And on top of that, the whole curriculum, it has different layers of generations. It has the younger kids and the kind of middle kids and then adults. So everyone is learning from one another and they're growing together, and it's really forming the community that's needed, especially in the faith-based world. And yeah, thank you. I hope you enjoyed this little presentation on an SEL curriculum I think will really make a difference in the world of Catholic Catechism.